All right, and welcome back. You're listening to The Long Take with Justyn and Ken. We just got back from a little break. We were talking about pivotal movies in our upbringing from ages 5, 10, 15, 20, and most recently 25. We've gone through age 5 and age 10, and we're about to start before we get into age 15, we're going to do our review of David Fincher's Gone Girl, which came out a couple weeks ago, and we're going to get a chance to talk about it a little bit. But before we left for break, Ken posed the question of what was my favorite movie theater experience as a youngster. What was the movie that I remember seeing in theaters being super excited about? And to answer your question, it kind of goes back to what my favorite movie was at age 10. It was The Empire Strikes Back because they released the trilogy on video cassette. And I remember just falling in love with Star Wars as a 10-year-old in 1997 because nobody in my family, a lot of people have older brothers or their parents that got them into Star Wars. I didn't have that. My mom didn't care for Star Wars. Nobody in my family really was into Star Wars, so I discovered it late, very late. But I fell hard for it. And right in time for them to... very clever marketing, as we said before, but fell in love with it right in time for the 1999 release of The Phantom Menace. Got very, very excited for that movie. Remember sitting in the theater with my uncle who took me to see it, and just being blown away by what I thought was. In retrospect, it's not the greatest movie. I still have some love for The Phantom Menace as far as the prequels go, but yeah, if I had to point out as a kid what was my favorite time in the movies, it has to be that one.
Do you remember what theater you saw it in?
I saw that at the Lowe's at Seacourt.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's tons of Seacourt and Ocean County Mall movie theater experiences that I've had as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
But I gotta tell you, going with my grandpa in 1997, July 2nd,
mm-hmm.
in Times Square, the movie theater in Times. I can't remember if it was Regal or I don't know what it was. It was something completely different.
Oh wow.
Lowe's, who knows?
In New York City.
Men in Black.
Yeah.
My
cool.
grandpa, my sister, and I
Uh-huh.
saw Men in Black, Times Square. Huge. I say movie theater experience just because you sit there and you feel like you're in an opera house.
Yeah.
Or what you think is an opera house. Just sitting there, just the hugeness of it.
Oh yeah.
And watching it on the big screen, like that for me. Men in Black was just such a fun movie. That also came out when I was 9, but whatever. I was 10 basically.
That's something that I didn't get to experience until I was an adult. Seeing a movie in New York City.
Yeah, but that was like the beginning of me romanticizing about seeing a movie in theaters because just being surrounded by amazing movie theater.
Yeah, and when you're a kid, things are just so much bigger.
Yeah, it felt so huge, and I think we actually saw. I remember now we saw the movie Outbreak, either in that theater or another theater in Manhattan.
Now, isn't that Ebola in that
Outbreak
movie? Is it Ebola? Is it Ebola, the disease in that movie?
Is it? Oh.
Because I was thinking about that.
Up?
Yeah, I'll look
Can you look that up? Because every time I look something up, your video freezes, so I can't.
Okay.
Something like that, but yeah, Outbreak. About monkeys.
Patrick Dempsey.
Sure.
Who do we have here? Okay. Directed by Wolfgang Peterson, Dustin Hoffman, Rene Russo, right. Morgan Freeman, Cuba Gooding Jr., Kevin Spacey, Donald Sutherland. Good casting.
Oh my God.
And Patrick Dempsey, who this is before Grey's Anatomy. So, but what is it?
Yeah.
Okay, the film focuses on an outbreak of a fictional Ebola-like virus called Mataba.
Oh, I think we should watch that again.
It's fitting time.
It's Contagion. I think Contagion kind of surpassed Outbreak easily because it's a much better movie about disease, about something like that happening.
Yeah.
But the fact that Outbreak is actually about Ebola makes me want to watch that again.
Or an Ebola-inspired.
Ebola is fire, or whatever. Yeah, but yeah, I saw that in Manhattan. And that was fucking awesome. I remember that for sure. But oh shit, you know what? I remember this.
What's that?
Seacourt 10.
Uh huh.
Did we see? Why didn't we see that together? What were we doing?
What movie?
We should have saw that together. Phantom Menace.
Phantom Menace?
We saw that. My stepdad Tom.
Yeah.
My mom.
I don't know.
We saw that at Seacourt, and it was like it was like the day of. It was like right after I was right after school. And you know what? This is how serious this was. We had tickets for this movie for like a month, right? Because
really,
I think my stepdad he's huge with the Star Wars.
Yeah,
understandably, because he, the first one came out when he was 12. So I mean, come on. The orientation day for middle school was like the same day. For those of you who aren't aware, like, so okay, 6th grade was the last year for us for elementary school. 7th grade, 7th and 8th grade were intermediate school, their own little thing, and then there was high school, 9th grade to 12th. And they have to go to orientation.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's mandatory. You have to go, or what? You're not going to get into middle school? Like, really?
They're not going to let you in on
But they had to schedule. They had to schedule this thing, this orientation, this bullshit orientation, the same day Star Wars Phantom Menace was coming out.
Preach, brother.
And like, I had to like tell my teacher, listen, I mean, what do I do? What do we do? Because
we've had these tickets for a month.
My entire family's going.
Yeah.
My entire family's. We're not gonna like not go because freaking orientation. Like, really, I didn't go. That's why I didn't go to that thing.
Well, that probably
answers.
Going? I don't remember going, no, but that probably answers the question why we didn't see it together, because you saw it with your family, and I guess my uncle saw how into Star Wars I had gotten, and wanted to take me and have it be kind of like a, kind of like a father-son thing. My father passed away when I was a kid, so my uncle was really the guy who took me to the movies and really helped me develop a passion for going to the movies. I
don't think I was as into Star Wars as you were back then. I liked them, but I think that
I took it a little seriously. That's why we stopped talking for a number of years.
We gotta talk about that soon. I don't know, not here.
We'll keep hinting toward it.
we try to talk about that in our Botch podcast.
Yeah.
But Justyn and I, our friendship,
it's had its ups and downs,
It took a turn for the worst.
It went to the
dark
side. Right around
Phantom Menace came out.
Oh God, I can't believe I said that joke.
In the interest of saving time.
Yeah. We'll save that for a later date.
Yeah, because that's an interesting story.
Yeah.
I think once you get to know Justyn and I more, then you'll care, but you won't care at this point.
At this point, you don't give a shit who we are. We're just two assholes talking about movies.
Yeah,
who do you think you are?
You don't give a shit about us at all.
Why do you deserve to have a podcast? But, hopefully you're still listening.
Yeah, we're trying to earn the right to have a podcast.
So let's earn that right now and then get into our Gone Girl. Let's review. Let's do something semi-relevant. Enough about us. Yeah, let's talk about David Fincher and Gone Girl.
I saw it like Thursday night before it came out.
Okay.
I really liked the movie. Mm-hmm. I enjoyed it for what it was. But as I told you when we first had this conversation, and let's just spoil the shit out of it. The tonal shift. Let's spoil Gone Girl right now.
Yeah, at this point, yeah, spoiler alert.
If you haven't seen the movie yet, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
All right. That kind of was like the red herring. I don't know. Is it red? I don't even know if that's right term. Going into it, because like the fact that it was so touchy about spoilers, it's like, wow, what's going to happen in this movie?
Right.
That's going to be, and so I was kind of expecting something crazy, but I still did not expect Amy Dune, Nick's wife, to not actually be missing at all, but to have planned this whole entire thing.
Yeah.
To make it so that Nick could possibly be
framed for
killing his wife.
For murder.
Yeah. And I wasn't expecting that. It was definitely like, oh wow, this is quite the twist indeed.
Mm.
The movie, for me, when that twist happens, when you find out what's really happening, the tone, I mean, the beginning of the movie starts as a police procedural, but all of a sudden there's this shift right when you find out what's really happening. And it becomes this really like pulpy, sexy, it earns its R rating thriller.
Sure.
And it turns into this completely different kind of movie.
Yeah.
And for me, it was a very jarring experience. I've been meaning to see it a second time, but because I want to see how it feels again. Watching it for the first time, it did kind of throw me off. And for the rest of the movie, I was trying to emotionally try and get back into what's going on. And I was able to get into it because I feel like Tyler Perry's character was kind of like the voice of like reason at that point. When he plays
Hallelujah.
Tanner, Yeah, Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Tanner Bolt.
Right? One of the greatest names in recent Hollywood years. Perfect name for
so,
the big Hollywood lawyer.
Yeah, and like the way it's astounding.
That's a good word to describe it. The tonal shift, yeah, it is jarring, like you said. I loved the tone going into it, the way the movie builds, and then it pulls the rug from under you, and it's this intentional thing that Fincher does, and it was jarring to me also, but it didn't take me out of the movie as much as it took you out of the movie. I still enjoyed where the movie took me because I was very much invested in this new story of how Amy did it, and the changing in the time from you start with Nick done. And how he goes along. I don't even remember how he finds out that she planned it. It must have been one of the clues or something like that. Do you remember?
It was the fourth clue, the shed, with all that shit in the shed.
So he finds that, but she didn't plan on him finding that before the police did, right?
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So she really wanted to add insult to injury, I guess. She just really wanted to get this guy, but. Yeah, you're in this time, going day by day as Nick is being scrutinized by the media, and the movie says a lot about the times that we live in, about how you've got your Nancy Grace characters and these people whose job it is to talk about shit that they really have no idea or don't know what the hell they're talking about. They're talking about people's lives for ratings and just to get to keep people watching, and they say the most outrageous things based on a photograph. Or something that's on social media, things that you can easily take out of context. So I think it says a lot. It says a lot about the time that we live in.
Portrayed.
Yeah, that was fantastic.
Him smiling for that. I love that. I love the way that whole thing unfolded. Yeah. You knew that when he smiled at her for that photo, that was not a good move for him.
No.
What are you doing?
What are you doing?
But yeah.
But he's just a very human character.
Doing?
He doesn't know what the hell he's doing. And it's obvious. And then you've got these people who know very well what they're doing. They're very set in their role of, you've got the Tyler Perry character, the characters that, play like the Nancy Grace knockoff. Like, she knows exactly what she's doing. She's comfortable in this world. Nick is uncomfortable in this world. And you're there with him, the whole way. And then it goes back in time to Amy, back to the beginning of the story, day one, her escape. And then it's about her. And you start to... In the beginning, you start to sympathize with her a little bit because you see things like that one part where he pushes her after they get into a fight. It really makes him look like an asshole. Like, he doesn't care about the marriage. He's just a shitty husband. He's cheating on her. I don't know if you know that at that point, but he's cheating on her. He pushes her down. She hits her back on the banister. And I remember thinking, like, oh no, poor Amy. And then it goes back and you kind of feel like you feel for her because... she's not as weak as you thought she was. And then you realize that she's kind of crazy. She's putting a marking on her calendar, kill self, month after month. And then, you realize that she is just nuts. And then it goes back to, by the end of the movie, the character that you used to sympathize for, now you're kind of terrified of. And now I'm worried about Nick because who knows what this woman's going to do. And he's trapped with her now in the same house. The police are not going to help him anymore. And
that's where I see, I like the ending.
Yeah.
Even though, ultimately, and this is probably the best way to describe my feelings on the movie, I feel it's two great halves of a movie that add up to a pretty good whole. That's how I feel about it, because I just feel like it's not... those two halves, when it goes from the police procedural to the pulpy, twisty thriller, I don't feel they quite mesh as... I don't feel that those tones mesh. It's jarring. It's astounding. Whatever. Some people could take something away from that and enjoy that. For me, I don't like having to think about the construction of the movie, especially when it's halfway through.
Yeah, while you're watching it. Yeah.
A movie that's like it sucks you in and then it deliberately pulls you out and then tries to suck you back in again. That's a very tough thing to do. The fact that Fincher was able to do that movie as much justice as he did is amazing.
Yeah.
But I just feel like the movie ultimately doesn't really aspire to be anything more than this crazy thriller. You know what I mean? It's kind of B movie, which is Fincher loves to take these like B movie type stories and elevate them. and sometimes he elevates it to something that's way bigger than you thought it was going to be. For me, Gone Girl, I think he serviced the B movie aspects of the the book and everything.
All right.
I don't think it kind of goes above. It kind of introduces satire on the media and all that, but I don't think it follows through.
Yeah, there's just glimpses of that, very, very nice glimpses.
And he said that it wasn't really like his point.
Right.
To
he didn't want to make that movie.
Release. Yeah, but ultimately, I feel like that makes it. I don't know, I feel like it's a thinner movie than it kind of promises to be. Like there's less there, but promises to be. But having said that, I do enjoy I think, for me, because of how I feel about that shift, if the movie just kind of ended with her coming back, I think I would have liked the movie less, because I was like, okay, what? You know what?
Yeah, it can't just stop there.
Maybe if you're reading the book, it's a different feeling. But the fact that it kind of ends on this creepy note that like he's really is stuck with her, I thought that was really well done, and that made me ultimately feel that this is a really good movie. Not one of my favorite movies of the year, but that ending definitely like helped me feel comfortable with it. Like I was like, yes,
okay,
I do like this movie, because I felt like that ending had the right touch to it. It was just because there's a lot of different ways you could end that movie, but the fact that you're just kind of like trapped in this marriage with them for what you feel like too long. Yeah. I feel like that's exactly what you should feel about that. It's like, oh, what? You're still with her? Come on! Like it's just like it's an insane situation.
Yeah, definitely.
And I like that about that. I do like the ending a lot.
I love a movie that really that knocks you on your ass and stays in your head for a day or two after you leave the theater, and that's what Gone Girl was for me. I remember before seeing it that you had said that Fincher wanted people to go see this movie with their wives or their girlfriends, and then leave wondering if the relationship was it was a movie that was going to test relationships. I took the Gone Girl challenge. I went and saw it with my girlfriend, and I remember walking out of the theater, and I was just joking around, but I remember like kind of looking at her like, huh, like I don't know, but just joking. But you really don't know somebody until you spend 5 years with them, and I think that's what it was. Their 5-year anniversary, their marriage, it just went downhill. But right, yeah, you don't know what people are capable of, and obviously Nick underestimated Amy, and but yeah, because that movie just clouded my head for a day or two after, I couldn't just not think about it. Just think all the possible ways it could have gone, things that could have gone differently. I think it's a great story, and that's why it's one of my favorite movies of this year so far. It's up towards the top.
I completely understand that. I don't blame anybody for loving that movie. I want to see it again, like I said. It just didn't really do it for me like it did for everybody else.
Where do you rank it in terms of Fincher's filmography? And I know you have Zodiac up at the top.
Right. Yeah. For me, Zodiac is Fincher's masterpiece. Yeah. And again, that has a tonal shift, but it's gradual. Yeah. And I think that's what's different.
Yeah, because you sit in Zodiac. It's a very, very slow boil. What's below Zodiac for you? For me, it's Social Network.
Zodiac is 1, Social Network 2. Yeah. 7 is 3, Fight Club is 4. Gone Girl is 5.
Oh, you got the whole list off.
And I remember this because we talked about this not too long ago. And then after that, it's kind of like whatever. Yeah. Girl with the Dragon Tattoo is after that. Yeah. Because I really do like the. I've seen Girl with the Dragon Tattoo 3 times.
I've seen it once, but I really enjoyed it. I never saw the originals though. Yeah,
the multiple viewings confirm to me that it's a pretty good movie, not a great movie, but it's a really great movie to watch from a technical standpoint, because the way Fincher, the way he moves the camera. Yeah. We can
devote a whole episode to talking about Fincher. Yeah. And the way he uses the camera.
Maybe when his TV show comes out next year, he has
House of Cards.
TV show he's doing. Utopia. He's doing a new show on HBO. Oh. He's directing all the episodes. All of a sudden, these directors want to direct. They want to do a whole season of a show, directing the whole season, like Steven Soderbergh. Yeah. With the Nick.
Yeah. Wait, that's not Spielberg, is it? The Nick? That's Soderbergh. Oh, I think it's Spielberg.
Did I say Spielberg?
I don't know.
Check. We'll check. Should we check the tape?
We'll look back.
We are recording. This is why I like the recording. Maybe I did say Spielberg. but I meant to say Soderbergh.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I said Soderbergh, but whatever.
Whatever.
But Soderbergh, Louis C.K. directs all his own shit.
Yeah.
Cary Fukunaga. What's his last name? The True Detective. Cary
Oh, let's see.
You know what I'm talking about. But True Detective was directed by the same. Every episode was directed by the same guy. So now David Fincher wants to follow that method. It's gonna be interesting though, because Fincher does a lot of takes.
Cary Joji Fukunaga.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fincher does a lot of takes.
Uh-huh.
He likes to do a lot of things over and over again.
Yep.
Whereas Soderbergh does things as fast as possible. So he is fast, efficient. He does as few camera setups as possible. And Justin, you got to watch Side Effects because maybe not the first time you watch it, but the second time you watch it. Second time I watched Side Effects, the sheer lack of setups is just amazing. How simple the movie is shot, and yet it works so well as this thriller that it is. And you know what? Side Effects is actually a pretty good double movie for Gone Girl. Because it kind of has a lot of the same elements to it. You gotta watch Side Effects, Justin.
I'll check that out soon.
And the rest of you, everybody else.
Yeah, but, Soderbergh is definitely a filmmaker that I want to get a little more into after reading about him in Rebels on the Backlot. I went back and I've seen Sex, Lies, and Videotape. Other than that, I've seen Traffic. Recently, I watched Behind the Candelabra. That was the HBO Michael Douglas about Liberace. But other than that, not too much. I want to go back and watch, Schizopolis.
Have you seen Out of Sight?
No.
Out of Sight
with George Clooney?
George Clooney.
No.
Oh, that's a wonderful
yeah,
movie.
Gotta dive into Soderbergh, admittedly.
Probably one of the better, romantic thrillers or crime romantic thrillers.
Is that also my girl, Jennifer Lopez?
Jennifer Lopez is probably at her hottest and sexiest.
Uh-huh.
And George Clooney, before he really knew that he was a star.
Yeah.
That's important.
That was still when he was doing ER before he did Three Kings, right?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. But, getting it back to Gone Girl.
Yeah.
It's interesting with Gone Girl, like you said, with couples, seeing this movie, maybe reevaluating their relationships. It's interesting to me to think about, you're with someone for a long time, how they can change, or if they change, or what changes about them. Mm-hmm. That's all, I don't think you have to worry about being married to or being engaged to someone who's going to become a psychopath or is a psychopath. But there is cases 10 years down the line, mostly with husbands abusing their wives or things just go completely south. You wonder why they were such a great couple.
Yeah,
why did they get divorced?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And it just, I will say Gone Girl does portray the shakiness of marriage pretty well.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm happily married, very, very happily married still, but it's just one of those things. It does make you think about the process of being with someone for their whole life.
Yeah.
And just what that means, and do you have to worry they're going to change? Not necessarily to a criminal or a murderer or
it's not going to be as extreme as in the movie, but people do change. People go through very, very drastic changes over their lives. The older we grow and the more that we learn, we change as people. And how do you change with somebody together? Do you grow separately, or do you kind of go along the same path? It's really hard, I think, to maintain that kind of a relationship and keep it healthy. I guess that's what that movie's maybe attempting to say.
Yeah, I definitely think so.
So I guess we'll leave it at that with Gone Girl. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend that you do.
Me too.
Yeah. And then at this point, do you want to take another break, or do you just want to keep going?
Let's take another break. We'll wrap up 15, 20, 25. Mm-hmm. And then we'll go right to the end. We'll talk about what we're gonna do, future podcast episodes.
Okay.
What our next episode's gonna be.
Okay.
So we'll do all that after the break.
Okay, we'll be right back. You're listening to The Long Take. Hey there, boys and girls. Justyn here. Thanks for listening to episode 1 of what Ken and I hope will be many episodes of The Long Take. We had a lot of fun making this episode, and we hope that you're enjoying it. Just wanted to take some time to let you know that we really want The Long Take to be an interactive experience. We want to hear from you. Like something you hear? Let us know. Or maybe you disagree with something we said. Tell us just how wrong we were when we said that one thing that you didn't like. Nothing is off the table. And who knows, you may wind up being a future guest on the show. You can contact the show on Twitter @TLTpodcast or send an email to tltpodcast@gmail.com. Ken and I hope to hear from you very soon. Thanks again for listening. Now, back to the show.